a cop show to think about good guys and bad guys. And one of the things that I think we've always stayed true to is to understand that they're just, because everybody's like, oh, Voight's a bad guy. Who is he? Big? I say he's not bad.
Cares about your son.
Yeah. I mean, in Voight's doing the right thing for Voight.
Welcome to One Chicago Podcast. My name is Brian Luce, and I'm here with my great friend Jason Beghe.
I play Hank Voight.
There we go.
On Chicago P.D.
And we're here to kind of...
Wednesdays at 10, 9 Central.
And we're here basically to tell you how we make the sausage. You know, how behind the scenes of all three shows, but we specifically are going to talk about PD today, how long we've been around, the incredible people that we met, 220-something episodes in.
Is it, how many?
I think it's over 220, maybe over 230.
Wow.
Yeah. We are...
Wow.
I'm kind of fortunate that I've been here when Jason started on the Chicago Fireside.
You know what I just thought about? You want to hear something funny? So when we did, I was staying at the hotel, I think there was a Waldorf Astoria, and I'm staying there with John Seda and this old producer on John... Roman. Yeah, great guy.
Yeah.
He was the producer on Fire. And John Seda and I had come in like to do 3 episodes, and we'd done like 15 or something because they liked us. And so we went out to dinner with John Roman, and John said, I'm here on behalf of Dick, and we want to make a show about Chicago PD. We don't have an idea. We just want to let you know, and blah, blah. So we're all excited. And then at the end of the year, we started to shoot the pilot, which was the hardest or the most, I think we shot, what is it, 23 days?
Yeah, we doubled. It was I
think it was 23 days.
An episodic pilot, right.
In a row. And it was like all day, every day, 23 days in a row, Saturday, Sunday, everything. Some cool stuff. Joe Chappelle shot it with the helicopters. And
yeah, I mean,
we spent money. And it was good. And the thing that I remember, because I'm not a big drinker, but John will have a glass of wine from time to time. So we used to say, come on, let's go to the bar. So we went to the bar. I had a glass of wine. You know, I'm just nursing mine. He can put away a couple and be fine. And he was like, I don't know, do you think the show's going to get picked up? He was so nervous. He had on his phone a little thing that was wood that he would knock.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it would make a knock on wood. And I said, no, I remember saying, no, we're going to get picked up. We're going to get picked up. I'm sure we're going to get picked up. And it's going to be. So I always felt like it was going to be fine.
Right.
I didn't think 13 years, but I thought we were going to do something. You know what's the most important thing here? Here's this guy who's a cop who doesn't know how to shut up, but he's got this personality that's bigger than all the actors. And, he's funny and smart and seen it all and, unedited. And from the get-go, and he had no idea what he was doing, didn't know anything about movies, didn't know anything. He's just an undercover cop and one of the best, legendary, but known for his great person. Every cop in Chicago knew who he was because he's this big of a guy. And it turns out, and this is about you, and I've been in this business 40 years.
Wow.
40 years. I mean, that's a long time. And I don't use this term lightly, but you, like Dick is a genius. Yeah. Like, how the hell does Dick have this kind of success? That's genius. There's something, if somebody knew the way to make the sausage so you get picked up and make a show, nobody has that formula, but he's as close as anybody has ever come. That's genius. You can't put, it's indefinable. Brian, you have that. From the day he started, it was like, how the hell do you know this stuff? And like that goes to I remember on that pilot episode, we were doing this scene and Dick Wolf was in town and all these people. It's this big kind of a climactic scene where Voight is like on fire, and I want to find this bad guy, and I have all this history with Casey, and he's got a gun to Casey's head on a train platform, and I'm supposed to shoot the guy, and so we work on it, we work the scene, and Brian and I had just kind of known each other for 3 days, maybe 2 days.
3-4 days. And with my daughter, we were walking around the park. We were sharing
just
stories.
We didn't know each other, learning.
We didn't
some
lock
cop
in
stuff.
yet.
And so we rehearsed the scene, and I have to change my costume because we're rehearsing from a thing, and I got to go back to base camp, which is, I got to get in a van, and it's going to take, I'm quick change, so it's probably, but it's still, it's 15 minutes plus with lighting. It's got to be a half hour before we shoot again, right? And so we're rehearsing this scene, and they come to it, and Dick is there. So everybody's a little bit
Everybody's there.
We want to make it good. And we come up with something. Everybody's happy with it. Okay, we're going to light this thing. And I'm like, you guys are sure you like this? Yeah, it's good. It's good. And I'm like, no, it's going to be good. I say, Brian, do you like this thing? He said, no. I said, me neither. So I said, you come with me. And this is how we got, I mean, in a sense.
Well, you did it, and everybody was like, oh, this is going to be great at the rehearsal. And he looked over at me, and I told him.
There was more, there's more gravy on the plate.
More gravy. And I told him, I looked at him and said, this, like, I'm not going to lie. And he was so passionate about, like, I didn't know how to articulate at the time, this is what we're missing. You're the police. You don't have to aim. You've been looking for this guy.
But he also understood. Like, I created this character, Hank Voight, that had a lot to do with creating all of One Chicago in a lot of ways. But you had more to do with helping me create the soul of this guy. There's and this kind of, I mean, it just was great. But we ended up. I said, come back. We're changing. So he came back to my trailer. We drove together. We're trying to figure this thing out.
We're going at it.
And the thing that you did that lit the fire for me was the way you couldn't articulate it, but you have an emotional reality, and you understood the emotion of the situation, which is what, if you have the emotion, everything else follows. If I'm angry, I'm going to walk this way. I'm going to make this decision. So he had the depth of I've been looking for this guy. He's got me, and I'm gonna kill him.
So Voight comes walking up the stairs, and I'm telling you, I seen fire in his eyes and his hands, and he's walking, and he's coming down, and like, we're rolling, whether we want to roll or not roll.
Yeah,
that's how it was.
Yeah,
and you seen him, and I told him, you don't aim.
I remember I told the focus puller, because I was supposed to hit my mark.
Yeah,
and stop and fire. Like, I stop, I have a word with this guy, and then I shoot. But what I came up with, I never stopped walking. I came out of the thing, I pull the gun, I see the dude, I'm coming, and I just come and I boom, and I keep walking.
We thought you were going to put I said, when we were first talking, like, put your gun through his head. But I thought legit, I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to get fired now. He's going to put his gun through his head. Jesse Spencer thought you were going to kill him too.
Yeah.
And when he walked up and you stood over him, and we're standing there, and you seen him, and then the next thing they yell, cut. And everyone go, ah!
Yeah.
It was, I fell in love with you that day. Like, we kind of fell in love that no matter what, you weren't going to be mad at me if I tell you the truth. But I came in as a callous cop that needed help, and you trained me, but you were right. Eric LaSalle had that too.
What?
I don't care if the PA told me, what's the best idea?
Exactly.
And on other shows, sometimes they got to stay tight with the words.
No, you can't be, no.
Well, what's the truth?
There it is.
Then let's do that.
Because there's nothing more compelling than the truth. And that's the thing. And that's why people like our show. And that's started with the technical advisor. Carrying the gun correctly. It makes a difference. You're constantly, no, that tie clip goes here. Yeah. It's like all this stuff. And the more you have a little bit of truth, it just...
And the truth is, there's a picnic table that people should know about that's outside Stage 10.
Yeah.
And we asked for it. And both of us used to smoke. We both quit. But we'd go through a pack a day.
Yeah.
After every scene, we'd go outside, and we'd be puffing away, but people thought we were bullshit. We weren't bullshit. We were
we're
we were talking
working.
about the scene. We're working.
Yeah.
And there's things that we can't let other people hear.
No.
You know what I mean? Just because we're trying to help, like, hey man, maybe you should talk to that guy. Like you told me when you went through that door, you were scared or you were shaking. Like it's okay to be scared. Vulnerability's beautiful. He would explain to me.
Yeah.
And like we would have some stuff that we'd say that we couldn't say to anyone else. Like it was raw. And you handed me my ass a couple times, like, hey man, that's your job.
Yeah.
Like you got to catch that if you see it falling off.
Yeah.
Or if there's words we got to change.
Yeah.
This guy's just showing up.
Yeah, we're here to make a movie.
Yeah, we're here to make a movie, and you held us to such a high standard that knowing every word and all of that, but knowing what the scene is about and where we're going. Where if a guy just shows up and he doesn't know. Like they're just high intensity drug traffic agency. They're a group of individuals that work in narcotics that combat boom, boom, boom. We can rattle it. I can give you all that. But if you don't care and they're just words, and you know the guys, and you said this, one of the greatest things you ever told me ever, and it stays with me today is, bro, and in life I use it, show up interested, not interesting, right? That's your line.
Interested,
and
not interesting. Yeah.
I didn't understand it, Then I showed up at a party.
Yeah.
And I see the guy with the glasses on that's working the room and, he's interesting.
Yeah.
But he don't give a shit about nobody else but him. And then you see some of the actors that come, no disrespect, the guys that come in and say, the number one character in this movie is Chicago.
Yeah.
And the number one thing that I think is love. People could say, oh, Voight does this or Voight does that. At the end of the day, why? Because he loves you. Because he loves them or because he cares about this or he cares about that. How many times have you been upset? I love this when you say, oh, they want me to be mad. Well, earn it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what am I mad about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I need a reason to be mad.
Yeah, and there's this awesome, like, get the gravy off the plate or paint the picture.
Paint the picture to find out what it looks like.
Yeah.
So rather than painting by the numbers.
So I've heard these things, and you know where I hear them? I hear you telling our guest actors that are coming, like, just to help out, guys that want it. There's some people that don't need it. You got a Wendell Pierce, you got a what's called. But I think that anybody that comes in to work on our shows, even from the other shows, they're a little jealous. They see that we have this amazing family, we have this matriarch, that we're just trying to do the best job ever. And sometimes, even when we do the truth, it's hard. The truth's hard, It's cop show. It's gray, I don't know.
That was the other thing that became this thing is that, like, it's really easy on a cop show to think about good guys and bad guys. And one of the things that I think we've always stayed true to is to understand that they're just, because everybody's like, oh, Voight's a bad guy. Who is he? I remember when I first showed up on Chicago Fire, Derek and Michael Brandt, they were like, oh, you're playing a bad guy. And I said, he's not bad.
You care about your son.
Yeah. I mean, in Voight's doing the right thing for Voight.
Yeah,
He's got his own integrity. Nobody's the same. And so it's not for me to judge who's good, who's bad. Obviously, this murder, that's bad. This rapist, it's bad. But what we try to do is understand that it is not black and white. It's always gray. There's shades of gray. And so the thing that makes it interesting, instead of just making, oh, we're the good guys and they're the bad guys, it's like that yin yang symbol. There's a little, you wanna understand why. Why does this guy? Why is his solution to commit crimes? Is that he's a human? Is he a psychopath? Or is this the best he can do? He's trying to, and then he got used. There's always a story. And the same thing with all of our characters. It's not like I'm always right.
Right.
It's like, I don't want to be good. I just want to be.
You just want to be.
Yeah.
And you're right, that whole good guy, bad guy. I mean, you tried to kill my son. I did what I had to do. Like, you could call me what you want. But you're the guy. You want me coming. You want someone to work the case.
And I think part of the stuff, Voight. If you know, but also about like a Hank Voight. If you think about who he is, if you know, like if you're like a shy heart and you know the whole story and how it started on Chicago Fire and all that kind of stuff, and everybody say, oh, Voight was a bad guy. Well, think about this. Yeah, my son, he got lost, he drank, he ran his car into somebody, and it's not the first time. Yeah, yeah, I understand that should be punished, but understand that Voight's point of view is I took my eye off the ball because all I was doing was my job.
Your job
and I
for the
didn't
city.
take care of my son, so it's my fault. And I don't want to, and now he's going to suffer. And now because of who I am, if my son goes to jail, it's not the same as if somebody else.
No, that's
so
the cops.
so the penalty is not just 3 years in prison; it's rape to death. And I have to, they will come after him like candy.
Yeah.
And so I felt, or Voight felt, like I have a responsibility, and I would do whatever I can to protect him. And I understand as a father, there's not a lot I wouldn't do. I mean, I try to think, if my son's wrong, but if it's a question of life and death, or that kind of pain, I don't know what I can't, kind of mitigate in my own mind or forgive.
I think where I truly understand like who you were is there's these men that I worked with on a job that were revered. I tell you about Tommy Horton all the time.
Yeah.
I tell you about Ernie Kane, a legendary policeman. John Farrell, who was a lieutenant who got suspended for days because he tried to take care of his guys, which goes to, I remember when you said that speech, you tell me the truth so I can lie for you. And you knew right there that this guy's here to take care of his team and his squad. But he means it not only on the stage, but in real life.
Yeah.
I've seen you say, I'll make that phone call for you. No, you're with me.
Yeah.
Even for people that work around you. Dorota, you're my people, and that's who I take care of.
But I mean, it is a family.
It is a family. But these cops.
I will fight for anybody on my group unless they're harming. And then it still breaks my heart. If they're doing damage, then that's the only thing. And we try to fix it.
We try to fix it, yeah.
It's not about, I'm not here to, I mean, I will love you. I might not like you, but I'll love you.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes like Chikarotis is a hero, right?
Yep.
But he doesn't want to be portrayed as a hero. And he doesn't want his men to be portrayed as a hero. I remember as a young cop, I got all these kilos of cocaine and I'm coming in, I'm showing off. Ernie Kane grabbed me. He says, "Are you out of your mind? You defer this. You don't make these guys feel bad. You make them feel part of it."
Yeah.
And from that day forward, I was like, he's right. You got to empower these guys. And that's how our team is. You got Ruzick, you got Atwater, you got all these cops. And each one of them, I see a cop that I worked with, which makes it real, and then they try to work hard on it. I want to be this story or that story, this story. And you always say, let it hit you. And when it hits you, I was talking about the second episode of this season,
right,
where Ruzick was sitting on the curb and walked up to him. It's a real story. And he really, Ruzick's on some next level stuff, really got into it and he studied and he did his thing. And I watched it and I sat on my couch in tears. And I'm like, oh my God, here's my guy, He's sitting there and that kid that he saved and it was beautiful. So I know through all of these seasons that, it's not easy playing a cop. One of the cool stories is, do you remember Michael T?
Yeah, of course.
Scared Michael T was?
Michael T.
What was happening with him?
Williamson.
Michael T. Williamson said, Luce, he came up to me, he said, Luce, I need security. I'm like, Mike, is there people bothering you on set? He goes, no, Luce. At the airport, at the hotel, when I get in an Uber, I go, you're out of your mind. Were you crazy? He goes, these people all love Voight. They know I'm coming to get them, and they think it's real.
Because he was playing the character that was my nemesis.
Oh, he was on you, too.
Yeah.
We're at 1300 in Jackson, and those beautiful buildings. And I'm out front talking to him, yeah, brother, you're batshit crazy. You're blowing this out of proportion. And I like aggravating him, right?
Yeah.
A little car pulled up, window came down. I'm reaching, figuring, oh, wait, I don't have my gun, but I'm getting ready. Window comes down, this African-American lady looking, you better leave that Voight alone. He starts screaming at him, right? Michael T's just sitting there, window went down, the lady pulled away real fast. He turned, he said, I told you.
Yeah.
I told you. He was right. It was the night you arrested him. You had the cops come get him.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
That was a big, long scene, too. Boy, that was pages of dialogue.
Yeah, and you had all these guys coming at you, and at the end of the day, we realize it's just good policing, I don't know. The show, if you ask, they say, has it changed your life? Yeah, it's changed my life. You made me a better person. I was calloused, and we would talk, and you got in my head, but I got in your head. And I remember you going on some ride-alongs and coming back, Loopy and a few of those guys, you're like, holy cow, what's out here? But you did your homework. We spent hundreds of hours. When I first got a divorce, We were talking about at Armour Park. Remember me and you walked?
Yeah.
You were climbing a tree with my daughter.
I know.
She was 6 years old.
I remember.
Like,
and now she's off to college.
now she's off to college. She was 6 years old. She was in love with you. And then, yeah, like we grew up, but we've been working since day one. I got to honestly say, we've been working since day one.
Yeah.
And
you know, it's good. I'm not done. I don't feel, it's not. I think part of the thing that is, thank God I love my job. Thank God you love your job. We stay interested.
ooh, real interesting.
And then I think that's part of the formula.
I think one of the questions I always want to know is, do you think that Voight scares you at all? Or no?
Scares
Jason. No, right?
Voight?
Yeah. Does Voight, when you play Voight at any time, does he scare you? Sometimes he scares me, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because I don't want to lose you. So because I love you as a man and what's called.
Oh, do you mean like I get lost in it?
Not getting lost in it, but like yeah, I guess so. Do you ever take him home?
Well, I can say I don't think you never know. You never know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And I think in the beginning, when I was first started shooting this, you get a script, and Chicago Fire sent me. They said, "Oh, Dick Wolf wants you to do 3 episodes of his new show, Chicago Fire." Okay, I see this guy. I got an idea. That's what we'll do. Okay. And then it turns out I think I did 15.
Wow.
I did 15 that first season. And then a backdoor pilot. So the truth is, for the first couple of years, I'm still creating the character.
Yeah.
Because I'm still like Jason. I always say that's the other thing. If I'm not changing, then I'm boring.
Yeah.
To myself. So I'm always trying to challenge myself. I'm always trying to re-question what I know and to improve. That there's this I have to get better. I have to evolve. I have to confront myself. I have to be me.
Mm-hmm.
And which is something that you discover and create. And I think it's the same with a character. So I'm always creating them. But in the first couple of seasons, particularly the first couple, I'm swimming upstream. So yeah, I'm bringing him home a lot more often because I'm just like, plus I'm working. I mean, in that first season, we only did 15 episodes. In that first season, I had 2 days off.
Oh my God.
2 days off, and on both days I got a back surgery.
Oh yeah. I remember you were getting. Yeah, that's right.
I was in extreme
pain.
I couldn't even. I had a cane in between takes, and so, yes, I'm taking home.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I did. I was living in. I just.
And I asked because, like, as a policeman, you shut it off. You shut the car off. You go in the house. You ain't the police when you go in the house, unless something happens. You heard something in the backyard. And then the kids get to see you kick into that cop mode, and sometimes it's not pretty because you go right into protective mode. You get things out of your way, blah, blah, blah. And I've seen you in intense times where, like me and you have a language.
Yeah.
I know when not to talk.
Yeah.
I know when you're over there. I know when you need to talk. Like, I know you don't like big hugs and this and stuff. I know when you're dialed in and let's go to work. And I've seen more Voight lately, to be honest with you, in a way. And I loved what you told me one time. I'm like, all these people, like, I miss you cracking a guy. And these are honest conversations. Like, I wish you just knock them the hell out. And you'd be like, but then I didn't grow. I'm evolving. Like, we can't do that. We have to learn from what we did and what makes us better. And I was like, wow, that is so smart. And I hated myself for not realizing that. Like you said, we ought to always change. As a person, you had a personal injury and you were in pain. And you said something to me so cool that you listened to the pain. You're like, I was going for walks, but I just sat there and I listened to the pain, and I'm glad that it talked to me. And now look at you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So a lot of that stuff from the show and from here, like I'm listening to my pain now.
Yeah.
What can make us better?
That's right.
Yeah.
There's no bad feelings.
No.
Some of them are real uncomfortable, but they're mine.
They're yours.
I don't create them to suffer.
Right.
You know, so you might as well listen to him. You know,
And you put that on the screen. You know what I mean? Those truths are now coming out. And I don't care what anybody says. When they come on, like, we're not dialing anything in. We're trying so hard to make that so real. And I love when they're like, okay, this one's going to be Burgess's or this one's going to be Atwater. And everyone's there to like try to help that person out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and there, I think what we have, what other people don't have, I've never worked on any other show, so I could just speak.
Right.
You will go and say, am I missing something?
Yeah.
Bounce it off of each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is there more? Is there more?
Is there more? There's something here.
Yeah.
And sometimes it drives like the AD or whoever crazy because, wait a minute. There's something in this scene. I don't think we're hitting it right.
Yeah.
Right? How many times? And then we got to get it before we turn around.
Yeah.
And we'll go in. So I don't know.
You know, and sometimes you miss it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody bats 1,000.
Right.
But it's out there, you know, just doing it.
Our writers do work very, very hard to get it as right as they can on the police end, you know, for probable cause and for technical ways that, like, would we ever do this?
Yeah.
Not just visually
Right.
interesting, but like tactically interesting. And I get it, you know. So there's been times where a director will come on and will say, oh, I'm going to have the guys coming from this way or the guys coming from this way. And before I even bat an eye or even say anything, Ruzick or one of these guys said, Luch, would we really do this?
Yeah.
I'd be like, do what? Like, it's a surprise to me. I'm just walking on set. I'm back for a meeting. They want us to come in through the back door and the front door. We would never do that because they're trained. You're trained. Sarge wouldn't run to the back. Sarge got the front.
Yeah.
So then I go talk to the director. And, hey, a certain director, I won't say any names, just like that. If our guys come in here and they go here, they're going to be shooting at each other. So, no, we absolutely can't do that. And I worked with the writer who already said it would be nice if we did a double entry. We're not doing a double entry. There's times to do this stuff tactically. It doesn't make any sense. You want our guys pointing guns at each other. But it'll look great. I don't care how good it'll look. We don't do it. Like, you know, that's just it. But I don't even have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, by the time it's on your radar real quick. Ruse, like when Jesse was here, Jesse would be like, not a chance would we do this. So it may look visually interesting, and we could get it there. I got a way to do that.
Right.
So I've learned how to make that all happen.
Right.
If we slow this or remove this, or Sarge don't even pull the gun. You got 10 guys going in, cock-rocked, and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
He ain't pulling the gun. He knows when to pull the gun.
Yeah.
And I don't have to say that.
Yeah.
But there's times you'll double check.
Yeah.
Jason will go, I'm not pulling the gun, right? Jason, you know you're not pulling the gun. You know when you got to kill that guy.
Yeah.
You know, and there's some of the day players that come on and go, why isn't he pulling his gun? Well, it's really none of your business. I want to say, but he'll pull it when he thinks he's going to pull it. But the director will say, they'll try to change things, some of them, and we can't compromise that. Put him in front of the door. The door is a vertical coffin. Guys get killed. Wilhite was killed the first episode on 33rd Street. We blew her away. We're gonna take that away. No, they're trained to be the police. You know, you got to get invited into here. You can't just step in here. There's a reason why they act like this, talk like this, and carry themselves. I always say, keep your head on a swivel. You know, keep your head on a swivel. They're always looking. You'll see them out there. You know, shit jumps off, and you got to be ready. And they're trained to be the police. So sometimes I got to fight for stuff, and you guys got to fight for stuff too, you know, on your end. But I think I've made myself into what they call like an on-set producer, I guess. I'm there at the first bell and at the wrap. And sometimes some of the actors will come and say, you're still here? Why don't you go home? And I'm like, nah, I'm out here with the crew. Like, this is what we do. We're telling that story. I don't want to miss anything. You know, even if it's just Atwater going to pick up someone at school, I don't want to miss it. I want to be part of the stories. And it's, you know, the directors come in and the ones that get it, like that we've been doing this for a while. We promise you we're going to elevate, not make it worse. But like we got to stick to certain things, you know, some rules. And we'll bend the knee a little bit, but not too much, you know.
Yeah, but this is going back to what the genius is that you have. It's this just natural aptitude for understanding it. You are the heartbeat of our show. And that's, I think, the secret sauce. Because you keep it true. And not just the technical stuff. It's the heart and emotion.
Yeah.
That's the thing that you seem to be able to understand. And that's what making movies is about. You know.
Royce asked me one time, how would you feel? I go, proud. You got the guy.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy. You stayed up for 3 days. Think about it. When's the last time you brushed your teeth? Let's really think about it.
Yeah.
Did you know where you were before here? Do you know where you're going after here? It's been 48 hours you haven't washed your ass because you've been chasing this bad guy because they got her in some kind of box. And you just got that girl. So when you walk out there, I don't know what you look like when you're proud.
Yeah.
I know what I look like when I'm proud.
Yeah.
So you do you, and he gets mad sometimes. You always say you do you. I can't be you, Leroy.
That's right.
You know, like I can't do that, but I can tell you this is one of the emotions. I may want to cry. You know, I may want to celebrate. Like we got the bad guy, but the girl's dead. Like I couldn't tell you how many times I had to go hide and leak. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's okay to leak. Here's a good story. Olinsky says, Luch, they want me to go down in the basement and I got to search around and I don't know how would I do? How would I feel? I go, well, let's go do it, but I'm gonna hide. He said, what do you mean you're gonna hide? I said, I'm going to hide, and I'm going to kill you if you do something wrong. So he comes down in the basement, and he's moving along. He had that 357 King Cobra, and he's badass with his mustache, and he's moved. And I jump out, and I kill him. He's like, what? I'm going to go back upstairs. He goes back upstairs. He comes back through. I'm hiding underneath the couch. I grab his leg, and I kill him. He goes, oh, my God. What the heck? I go, let's do it one more time. Third time, I kill him. He comes walking up the stairs. He's like this. I go, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
You're scared. You're out of breath. You're trying to control it. There's boogeymen down there.
That's genius.
You could be scared. It's okay. And he was.
Yeah.
You know. And then when we did a scene in the forest, he had to walk through the forest. You know what he told me? Luch, go hide. That's all he had to say. And I hid, and he looked for me. And you watched his eyes, and he was looking. He wasn't acting.
Yeah.
He was in it because he didn't want me to kill him again.
Yeah.
And I watched him, and I seen him coming up on me, and I was like, I got scared of Olinsky. I was, and here's this hero that I love.
Yeah.
That's coming up to me.
Yeah.
And he looked for me, and you watched his eyes, and he was looking. He wasn't acting.
Yeah.
He was in it because he didn't want me to kill him again.
Yeah.
And I watched him, and I seen him coming up on me, and I was like, I got scared of Olinsky. I was, and here's this hero that I love.
Yeah.
That's coming up to me.
Yeah.
I'm, man, he was.
But that you can't teach.
Yeah.
You know.
So not only playing Hank Voight, but you know, and going through all the scripts and everything else, but I think 2 seasons ago, I could be wrong, you were promoted to an executive producer on the show.
Yeah.
And with that comes great responsibilities. I'm just a little producer. You're an executive producer. How do you like taking on that role?
Well, you know, the funny thing is, this, I will tell the truth. What we started talking about in this podcast today was that, you know, best idea wins. And, you know, I from the beginning, it's more spread out now and it's a little more homogenized. But in the beginning, in the first few seasons, it was, like I said, season 1, I worked every day except for 2 days. You know, now I have days off, and I have, you know, because there's more characters and they spread it out. So I feel and felt, I always felt responsible, and the fact that NBC came and said, you know, we're going to spend all this money, and Dick fought like crazy. He said, no, they were like, because NBC wanted me to do a different show, and Dick, who, you know, happens to have a small amount of power, he threw a fit, and here I am.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna for my guy, which is an honor. So, but I also think of it as, you know, I could go, hey, look at me, or I can go, wow, you know, let me, you know, show them they made the right decision. I've always felt like we have to.
That's my job.
Yeah, it's as much as I can help. You're welcome to it, and so that's. Nothing's changed for me.
And you say that a lot. You'll come on and say, listen, just because I'm saying it doesn't mean it's right.
That's right.
This is just an idea.
Yeah.
So I think in this scene, what if we,
That's the thing now that now people are like, oh, we got to do that. No.
And you'll edit yourself.
I want to hear what do you think?
And it kills you sometimes. You're biting your lip saying, because if I say it, then they're going to think that that's gospel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to like, he just means if you like it.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have to do it. It's not end all, save all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there are some strong directors that come in and say, okay, that's a good point. What about this?
Yeah. Yeah, great.
And those are the ones you love.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to hear it. Don't shine them out.
I love notes.
Yeah, I love notes. Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't. Not that one.
Everyone, everyone did a while.
I'll give you that one, but let me do one this way too.
Does any of the cases that we did or the investigations that we did any of them hit you? Like, did any of them, like, I know when we do the kids that got stolen,
Yeah.
they kill me. Remember the truck opening up with the girls or the overdose or the suicide cop?
I'll tell you one that sits in mind, and now I can shout out to just one of the freaking incredibly talented, valuable people is our production designer, is Greg Van Horn. Merlin, they call him because he's a musician and he kind of looks like Merlin. But we did an episode that was kind of setting up the Michaela story, because what had happened is she had lost her parents. Her father got out of prison and kidnapped her. Came in and committed murder and da-da-da-da-da. And I walked into this set, and the detail of the picture on the wall, the little toy here, the blood splatter there, it was phenomenal. And the director and Voight, there was a scene where the team arrives and we do this thing, and he suggested we do this, normal, we're here and we're talking and we're having this scene.
The debrief.
And they did it, and I still think it was great. And I said, no, let's do this whole thing as a POV. And we did the whole thing of what I'm looking at, which is all Merlin's work. Because it told the whole story. Because Voight comes and he's figuring the thing out, and Merlin did his homework.
Yeah, he did the evidential breadcrumbs.
Like, how did Voight figure this thing out? And came up with a theory, which ended up right, because we're trying to find this little girl and save her, and she ends up being adopted, and so that, I don't know if that answer hit close to home, but. That's, this is, it's such a collaboration. That's the thing. And so my job is to be hit by everything.
Right.
It's not, but sometimes it's easier.
Yeah.
But I can't pick a favorite.
So JC, you being here for 12 years before, you used to go back and forth to LA, but now you're actually living in Chicago. How's that? You love it here? You like the city?
I know some people that mean so much to me here. And my roots are in Chicago. Not many people know that, I used to come here as a little boy. Both my parents grew up here. They both went to U High. They've been together since they were 13 and 15. They both went to University of Chicago. My father went to the law school. My mother's mother taught public school here. She grew up in Hyde Park. Lost all their money in the Depression. Her father was the district attorney of Chicago.
Wow.
And he became the governor of Illinois and then the senator of Illinois. I have roots. And the funny thing is, so my parents were very close. They loved themselves more than anybody. Mm-hmm. Like I said, they were together since they're 13 and 15. My mother died 14 years ago. And in March, my father, picture of health, we wore the same clothes, we were the same size, he was just a healthy guy. He couldn't live without her. So he died in July of that year. And I I buried him. I think it was, I can't remember when it was, but I went, he was a federal judge by this time, so in D.C. So put him in the ground. Interesting, him and my mother have one stone, and they had two urns made out of Himalayan salt with their ashes in it, and it should be probably by now. The idea was that after time the urns dissolve and the ashes come together.
Wow!
And so they have one grave for the two of them, but I put my dad with my siblings in the ground next to my mother and finished that ceremony, went back to their house, grabbed my bag because I had to jump onto a flight to go shoot my first day on Chicago Fire. And I cannot help but always think about what a kick my parents would have got out of there's a circle there. So
back home.
Top that with the next question. Yeah.
There are no more.
Yeah.
All right, my dear friend.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for being. Thanks. Doesn't it sound much better coming from him?
Oh.
Thanks for being on the show.
No.
Really appreciate you, brother.